I'm Howie Scarborough. I'm the CEO of Fall Protection Distributors, and we've recently put out a blog focused on ExSteel standing seam panel. They make a trapezoidal panel called an RTL24. And what we're talking about today is the research we've done on the most compatible fall protection equipment that can be used on this panel. So if you scroll down through this blog on the website, you'll see we go in depth about the panel. We talk a little bit about the construction, the materials it's available, the gauges of steel. It is available in 22 and 24 gauge steel. It's 24-inch wide panel, 3-inch tall seams. So if you drop down here to our chart, you'll see we have the panel at the top, and then we have several different options for fall protection equipment down the left column. And everything with this particular panel, as long as it's a 22 or 24 gauge steel version, these are compatible. So starting with the SSRA1, this is a seam mounted anchor. It uses 12 non-penetrating set screws to lock onto the seam, and this provides a single worker with a tie-off point. What makes this such a unique product is it has a removable D-ring. So once you remove that D-ring, you can add adapter plates to expand the function of this anchor. So we have two different types of set screws that work with the SSRA1. The first is the standard cup tip set screw. That's intended for 22 gauge steel, and that's going to torque to 90 inch-pounds, not foot-pounds, but inch-pounds. And then if you're working on 24 gauge steel, you can switch over to our special nylon tip screws, and that's going to use more torque, 180 to 200 inch-pounds. Once you have those anchors mounted in place, you can remove the D-rings, and you can move on to the adapter plate. So if you need to put 10-foot walk boards so you have a nice level surface to work on, you can mount two SSRA1s about 8 feet apart, remove the D-rings, and then take a pair of SSRA2 roof jack adapters, mount those on top. They lock on with 2 bolts. They are both roof pitch adjustable as well as seam height adjustable, and they're padded on the bottom. So where they contact the flat part of the panel, there's no metal-to-metal contact. So that gets your walk boards. And then if you need a temporary 100-foot horizontal lifeline, you can take 2 SSRA1s, mount them on seams next to each other, remove the D-rings, take an SSRA3 Anchor Plate, mount that on top of those 2 anchors, and that's adjustable from 12 to 24-inch wide seams. And that is 1 anchor point for a 100-foot horizontal lifeline. So in other words, you would have that assembly at each end of the roof with the 100-foot horizontal lifeline attached between them. So we do sell a kit that has everything. So that would be to mount 1 100-foot temporary horizontal lifeline, you would need 4 SSRA1 anchors, 2 SSRA3 anchor plates, and then our kit also includes that 100-foot rope. If you need a permanent horizontal lifeline, we have an industry exclusive 120-foot super anchor lifeline, and that's made specifically for standing seam roofs with non-penetrating clamps, 5-inch riser posts, and 120 feet of galvanized steel cable. And that's for permanent installation. Another alternative product, if you don't want to mount to the seam, would be a Ridge Pro. Ridge Pros are designed for, they're going to fit on most roofs that are 612 to 1212, does not have to be a metal roof. So it's basically like a ladder hook, except instead of a big bulky ladder, it just mounts on the end of a lightweight 16-foot telescoping pole. So you would climb the ladder with the Ridge Pro attached to the end of the pole. You would use the pole to run it up the roof, flip it over the peak. And as you do that, you've secured a vertical lifeline to the peak of the roof. So you have a temporary anchor point already on the roof. So as soon as you step from the ladder to the roof, you're already 100% tied off. You can do a short inspection. You can do a quick repair, or you can install more permanent anchors for other workers, what we would call a first man up situation. So that's the Ridge Pro, very versatile product, very popular with roof inspectors and insurance adjusters, Christmas light installers, lightning protection companies. So something else to check out, just another alternative for you. So if you have any questions about any of these products or any of these panels, please give us a call. Our phone number is on the webpage. Our email is support@fallpd.com. And this little blue circle in the bottom right corner, that's our live chat. Just let us know how we can help you.